So Donald Trump is doing multiple events in Iowa now. He's out there on the campaign trail. And, man, he never a dull moment. Never a dull moment ever when he's involved. So here he is answering questions from the audience at this Iowa event. And look, he's going to get a question that in right-wing circles, this is like a big deal. I mean, I remember Alex Jones said, you know, I'm caught between Trump and DeSantis. I think Trump is better on World War III and Russia and Ukraine. I think DeSantis is better on the jab. And basically, Alex's argument is, man, I would really be all in for Trump if Trump was just anti-vax. But he's not anti-vax. That's the gist. And he's basically saying he'd be all in for Ron DeSantis if Ron DeSantis was, more in favor of getting out of the way in Ukraine and basically letting Russia do their bidding. Well, here's a person asking a question in the audience, and watch how Trump handles this. This is about the vaccine.
What would you do different as RNC members around this country?
Yeah.
And we have lost people because we supported the jab.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard that. I know the audio is muffled, but this person says, hey, basically, we lost people because of the vaccine you created. People died because of the vaccine. In other words, this is the super online, internet-brained, like, not only am I, anti-mandate and pro-vax. No, this is not that category. This is the category of, like, the vaccine is killing people. Perhaps it's part of a plan, and I'm just fully anti-vaccine. That's the argument that this person is making. Listen to what Trump says.
What do you think you would do different?
Yeah, well, everybody wanted a vaccine at that time. And I was able to do something that nobody else could have done, getting it done very, very rapidly. But I never was for mandates. I thought the mandates were terrible. And there's a big portion of the country that thinks that was a great thing. You understand that. Not a lot of the people in this room, but there is a big portion.
So Trump's defending what he did with Operation Warp Speed, helping create the vaccine. Honestly, there were a bunch of articles explaining how the federal government moved heaven and earth to get this thing done and get it done as quickly as possible. And they succeeded on that front. It's one of the rare things I'll give Trump credit for. I will give him credit for that. And Donald Trump previously would go out there and he would harp away on the fact, I created the vaccine, I saved lives, I saved maybe millions of lives. It would have been like the Spanish flu, it would have been like the Black Plague if I did not create the vaccine, but I did. That's what I did, and I saved the day. He used to say that. Then when he realized, oh my God, people in the right-wing base are viciously and vehemently anti-vaccine, then he sort of just stopped talking about it. But now when he's asked a question about it, oh, he didn't cuck himself. He's like, nah, did I stutter? A lot of people say it was a great thing. Maybe you guys don't like it, but a lot of people think it was a great thing. By the way, you want to know the number on that? Look at this. This is from 2021, September. The number of Americans who say they have gotten or will get a COVID vaccine is up to 79%. 79. You want to see what the DeSantis people responded with? They were pushing this moment as if it makes Trump look bad. Iowa voter tells Trump, we have lost people because you supported the jab. In other words, don't support the vaccine. The vaccine is bad. This is what they're saying. This is what the DeSantis people are saying publicly. Trump responds by praising the COVID mRNA shots, doesn't acknowledge any of the adverse side effects. Quote, I was able to do something that nobody else could have done. There's a big portion of the country that thinks the jab was a great thing. It's not just that people think that. It's that 79% of the people acted on that. And then how many times have I showed you guys this chart? I should get this chart tattooed on my back to make it easier so I don't have to pull up the link every time I show you it. People who are not fully vaccinated are 7 times more likely to test positive for COVID-19. People who are not fully vaccinated are 49 times more likely to be hospitalized for COVID-19. 49 times more likely. People who are not fully vaccinated are 32 times more likely to die of COVID-19 related illness. Would you like to see what that looks like in chart form? Look at this. This is cases per 100,000. Not fully vaccinated people, there was a giant spike. Giant spike. If you have one shot, sort of in the middle, if you're fully vaccinated, barely a blip in the radar. Now look, don't get it twisted. The more variants that came out, yes, the less effective the vaccine was. It still protected you from severe illness, hospitalization, and death. But yes, the vaccines were not as strong with the later variants because the vaccines weren't created for the later variants. They were created for the first wave. And then with the second wave, it still worked pretty good as well. Now, it was never true that it really stopped the virus dead in its tracks, but it always provided significant protection against severe illness, hospitalization, and death. And by the way, here's another chart. This one's on hospitalization, perhaps even a better metric than just cases. And as you can see here, not fully vaccinated, there was a giant spike. Even one vaccine provided quite a bit of protection. And then you had almost no increase whatsoever in the fully vaccinated. When it came to hospitalization, it was really protecting people from severe illness, hospitalization, and death. And I am astonished at the fact that the DeSantis people really think this is something to lean into. Look, don't get me wrong. There is certainly a portion of the far right, particularly the super toxic internet-brained, the people whose brains are melting from being online too damn much, who are running in these far-right circles, and they start to believe every opinion that they have reflects the overwhelming majority of Americans. Wrong. Wrong. What you're doing is you're telling 79% of the American people, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have gotten the vaccine. That was a terrible idea. Why'd you do that? You're going to die as a result of it. This is going to fly directly in the face of the overwhelming majority of Americans, not just the data, but their own anecdotal experiences. Look, I told this story. When I got the vaccine originally, it was within like a month, I was directly exposed to COVID. And it was, one of the original, I think it was the Delta variant or something like that. So in other words, this was at a time when the vaccine was working almost as good as it ever did. It was the best for Alpha, but even for Delta, it provided a lot of protection. I was directly exposed to the virus. I didn't even have a sniffle. No symptoms whatsoever. I didn't have any adverse side effects from the vaccine. Nobody in my family had any adverse side effects from the vaccine. And we were directly exposed, and Dickie McGee's acts happened. And my guess is there's a lot of Americans who are in a similar situation. Or even if they did end up getting COVID, they were told this thing is going to be a lion and it's going to take your ass out. But if you were vaccinated, it was a little cute kitty. You had the sniffles for 2 days and you moved on. And the DeSantis people sincerely seem to believe we'll go full anti-vax, we'll lean into this, and this will help us. Well, look, again, I got bad news for you. To the extent they think this will help in the Republican primary, questionable. But even if it does, you are shooting yourself in the dick for a general election. Democrats will have a field day with your ass if this is one of the things you lean into. And again, I got news for you. A lot of these people in the right-wing base are vibes voters. They're vibes voters. And alpha male Donald Trump is destroying beta cuck Ron DeSantis. And it doesn't even matter if he takes a position that's sort of unpopular with the base, because he's still leading by 30 points. Imagine they just went full in on anti-vax stuff to cut that lead down to 29. Go ahead, y'all. Lean into it. He probably hired some young, super online staffer to run the DeSantis War Room account. And this is what you get. They're going full anti-vax in your name. Look, Ron DeSantis, to his credit, is a little more politically intelligent than this. Because what Ron DeSantis likes to do is he likes to play the game. It's his little game that a lot of people play that are part of this crowd, where they're like, oh, no, I'm not anti-vax. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing. Really, I'm anti-mandate, but I'm pro-vaccine. We've all seen it. Now, to be fair, there are people who fall in that category. But then there's also a lot of people who are anti-vaccine, but they know they can't win the argument on the merits, so they retreat a little bit to, I'm not saying I'm anti-vax. I'm just saying I'm anti-mandate, but pro-vaccine, or I have some questions on the vaccine. Well, guess what? You know what their position is. You know what the DeSantis staffer's position is, because Trump literally said right there, I'm anti-mandate. So Trump is actually the one who's anti-mandate but pro-vaccine. And if that's your position, you wouldn't be attacking him over it now, would you? You wouldn't be doing that. But they did attack him. And they did attack him because they're going full anti-vax. Good luck. Good luck. Might be popular online in your weird little far-right circles, but here's going to be the reaction from the overwhelming majority of American people. Maybe even the Republican primary voters. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.